On the road to San Diego, siblings Cal and Becky are mid-escape. Becky is 6 months pregnant, and after their parents reacted poorly to the news, the duo decided to leave home for good. But Becky is already second-guessing the plan. When a sudden wave of morning sickness hits, Cal pulls over near an old church to let her recover. That's when they hear it, the voice of a young boy screaming for help from the depths of the towering grass across the street. The boy claims he's been lost in there for days. Just as Cal and Becky prepare to help, a woman's voice, presumably the boy's mother, cuts through the air, frantically telling the child to stop shouting. Based on the volume, Cal assumes the boy is just a few feet in. He plunges into the greenery, and a hesitant Becky follows close behind. She tries to call 911, but the deeper she goes, the faster her signal vanishes. When she finally looks up from her phone, she realizes the unthinkable. Cal is gone. The grass has swallowed him. Panic sets in. Becky suggests they head back to the car, but first, they need to find each other. She begins reciting a loud nursery rhyme to guide him toward her voice, but the physics of the field start to break. 1 second her voice is to Cal's right. The next, it's coming from his left. Confused, they agree to jump on the count of 3 to spot each other over the blades. On the first jump, they're close. On the second, they're suddenly hundreds of yards apart, even though neither of them moved a muscle. The field is shifting. In the chaos, Becky slips into the mud. As Cal rushes toward her voice, he stumbles upon a grim discovery, the rotting carcass of a dog named Freddy, covered in flies. It's clear the animal has been trapped here for a long time. As the sun begins to set, the siblings realize they aren't getting out tonight. Exhausted and alone, Becky collapses in the dirt to wait for morning. But she isn't alone for long. A man named Ross emerges from the shadows. He claims to be looking for his wife and son, the same voices they heard earlier, and offers to lead Becky out. She's wary of the stranger, but with no other options, she follows him into the dark. Elsewhere in the field, a frustrated Cal is startled by a small figure appearing out of the brush. It's Tobin, the boy from the road. But the child isn't acting like a victim. He coldly tells Cal that it's easier to find things once they're dead. When a terrified Cal asks if Tobin lured them in here on purpose, the boy reveals a chilling truth. His family only entered the grass because they heard a man calling for help too. And in this place, time doesn't exist. He has no idea how long they've been trapped. As Cal follows Tobin through the shifting stalks, the boy makes a chilling prediction. Becky will be dead soon. When a stunned Cal asks how he could possibly know their names or their relation, Tobin gives a cryptic answer. He claims the rock told him. According to Tobin, the massive stone at the center of the field teaches you how to hear the grass, revealing secrets to those who listen. Meanwhile, Becky is still wandering with Ross. The conversation turns personal as Ross pries into the details of her pregnancy and the absent father. As they walk, Becky notices impossible items scattered on the soil, medicine bottles and rusted scissors that shouldn't be there. When she turns to ask Ross about them, he has vanished into thin air. Before she can even scream for him, something lunges from the greenery and drags her into the depths. Back with Cal, Tobin leads him to a clearing where the grass refuses to grow. In the center sits a monolithic, ancient rock. Tobin urges Cal to touch it, and as he leans in, the air fills with the sound of ghostly tribal chants. But just before his fingers graze the surface, Becky's screams echo through the field. Ignoring Tobin's warnings, Cal sprints back into the tall grass to save her. Suddenly, the timeline shifts. We're back in the bright daylight on the same road, but the siblings are gone. A man named Travis pulls up to the church. This is Becky's ex, and he's been looking for them for days. He finds their car abandoned, but it's covered in dust and filled with dead bugs, looking as if it's been sitting there for weeks rather than hours. After finding Becky's book near the entrance of the field, Travis realizes they must be inside. He tries to be smart about it, folding the grass and using the sun to track his path, but the field is alive. Behind him, the grass instantly heals itself, and the sun moves across the sky at impossible speeds. By nightfall, Travis is lost and exhausted. That's when Tobin appears again. He tells Travis he knows exactly who he is and offers to take him to Becky. Travis follows, desperate for a reunion, only to find a nightmare, Becky's lifeless body lying in the dirt. As Travis breaks down, Tobin coldly explains the logic of the field. The grass doesn't move dead things because dead things are easier to find. The next morning, the horror takes a surreal turn. Travis wakes up next to Becky's body, but as he begins to call out for help, a voice answers. It's Tobin again, but this time, he's clean, healthy, and standing with his parents, Natalie and Ross. Even their dog, Freddy, is alive and well. The terrifying reality sets in. The field is a time loop. Travis is watching the past repeat itself. He sees the moment the family first hears the cries for help. and watches as they make the fatal mistake of stepping into the grass. As the cycle resets yet again, the nightmare comes full circle. Tobin begins shouting for help, and out on the road, Cal and Becky pull their car over once more, completely unaware that they are driving straight into a trap they've already died in. The cycle begins again, but with a new variable. Travis is already inside. When Becky and Cal hear Travis calling their names from the brush, they're stunned. He explains he's been searching for them, but Becky can't wrap her head around how he found them so quickly. The reunion is cut short by the sound of Tobin's voice, reciting Becky's old nursery rhyme. Following the sound, the group finally converges: siblings, the ex, and the boy. The tension is thick. Cal clearly resents Travis's presence, but personal drama takes a backseat to a terrifying revelation. Travis informs the siblings that they've been missing for 2 months. To Becky and Cal, it's only been 2 days. Sensing they are being watched, the group decides to move. Travis hoists Tobin onto his shoulders, and for a fleeting moment, the boy spots a building in the distance, a beacon of hope. As they trek toward it, the group's reality begins to fracture further. A phone rings in the middle of the field. When they answer, they hear Becky's own voice on the other end, sobbing, pleading with them not to let Cal hurt Travis. She warns them that if they don't stop, they will keep making the same mistake forever. Before they can process the warning, Becky slips in the mud. As she falls, she is bombarded by horrific visions: a baby, shifting grass, and ancient faceless people closing in. She faints from the shock. As Cal and Travis rush to her side, Ross reappears. He seems helpful at first, but the atmosphere has changed. Travis lifts Tobin again to find the building they saw earlier, but it's gone. There is nothing but grass in every direction. Ross simply smiles and says, "That's just how things work here." He leads them back to the ancient monolith. Up close, the rock is covered in prehistoric carvings. Ross speaks of it with a terrifying reverence, claiming it holds higher knowledge. He tries to coerce Cal into touching it, but Natalie, Ross's wife, bursts from the grass to stop him. She is trembling with fear. She warns the group that Ross is lying, that she's seen this play out before. She claims she saw a version of this timeline, where Becky was already dead, and Ross was the one who killed her. As the couple argues, Becky's visions return. This time, she sees Ross as he truly is, something ancient, supernatural, and predatory. She begs Cal and Travis to run, but Ross isn't letting them go. He's obsessed with making Travis touch the rock. The tension finally snaps into a brutal physical fight. As Ross and Travis trade blows, Becky screams for her brother to help, but Cal stands frozen, refusing to intervene. Ross, fueled by a dark, unnatural strength, eventually overpowers Travis, intent on forcing him to become part of the field. The facade of the helpful father figure is gone. In a burst of primal rage, Ross attacks Natalie, killing her with his bare hands. Terrified, the remaining group flees deeper into the field, following the dog, Freddy, until they reach a decaying, abandoned building. Safety is an illusion. Inside, the walls close in as Cal and Travis turn on each other. Years of resentment boil over. Cal accuses Travis of being a coward who wanted Becky to get rid of the baby, while Travis fires back with a disturbing accusation about Cal's own obsession with his sister. The argument turns into a brawl, only interrupted by the sound of Ross battering the door downstairs. They scramble to the roof, desperate for a vantage point. From the ledge, they see the church, the exit, standing mockingly across the field. As they watch, Freddy the dog runs into a patch of grass and vanishes instantly. Travis realizes there's a hole in the loop, a rift that might lead them out. But as he leans over the edge to investigate, he slips. Cal is right there. He sees Travis dangling, fighting for his life, and he does nothing. He watches Travis fall to the ground below. Tobin sees the betrayal too. When Cal tries to lie his way out of it, Becky isn't buying it. Sensing her brother's dark turn, she abandons him, heading back into the grass to find Travis. But the field has other plans. Ross ambushes Cal, pinning him to the dirt and taunting him with the truth about what he did to Travis. As Cal struggles, the ground around them begins to reveal its secrets. Dozens of dead bodies, previous versions of themselves, rotting in the soil. Miraculously, Travis survived the fall. He wanders the stalks, calling for Becky. When they find each other's voices, they lie in the dirt, separated by a wall of green, and finally speak the truth. Travis admits he's happy she's keeping the baby, but Becky delivers a heartbreaking blow. She was never going to keep it. They were going to San Diego to give the child away. Before they can reconcile, Ross strikes again. He lunges at Becky, intent on a horrific assault. In the mud and the chaos, Becky finds the scissors she spotted earlier. She stabs Ross through the eye and flees into the pouring rain. But the field is done playing games. As Becky runs, the grass comes alive. Dozens of grass people, distorted humanoid figures, emerge from the greenery and drag her toward the ancient rock. It is here that the loop demands its due. Becky realizes she is the one making the phone call she heard earlier, a desperate warning to her past self that she now knows will go unheeded. In the shadow of the monolith, Becky goes into labor. The agony matches the carvings on the stone, a ritual as old as the earth itself. As she screams, the ground beneath the rock splits open, revealing a massive, bottomless ditch. Peering into the abyss, Becky sees the true horror, a tangled mess of human bodies, hundreds of people clinging to the roots of an ancient tree, forever trying to climb out of a nightmare that has no end. Becky wakes in a daze. The world is a blur of pain, and her first instinct is to ask for her child. To her relief, she sees Cal sitting beside her, cradling a newborn. He speaks softly, comforting her, and offers her water and food to regain her strength. Becky is famished and eats blindly, but something is wrong. Cal tells her she's eating grass and seeds, but the texture is unmistakable. Panic surges through her as the illusion shatters. She isn't eating plants, she's eating human flesh. And the man sitting before her isn't Cal. It's Ross. Elsewhere, a battered Travis drags himself through the stalks until he finds Becky alone and broken. When she asks for her baby, Travis reaches out to touch her stomach, only to find it empty. The baby is gone. As they mourn in the mud, Tobin appears with a grim warning. Ross has killed everyone, and in this field he will keep killing them over and over for eternity. Determined to end the cycle, Travis stands and challenges the monster. Ross emerges from the grass like a predator, brutalizing Travis with a sharpened bone. When Travis falls, Ross turns his sights on his own son, dragging Tobin toward the ancient monolith to force his hand onto the stone. With the last of her strength, Becky lunges at Ross, distracting him just long enough for Travis to deliver a final, desperate attack. He slams Ross's head against the rock and uses the living grass to strangle the life out of him. The monster is dead, but the nightmare remains. Travis realizes there is only one way to save Tobin and break the loop. He must become the thing he fears. Despite Tobin's warnings that touching the rock means never leaving, Travis presses his palm against the cold stone. A blinding red light erupts from the monolith, surging through the field like a cleansing fire. When the light fades, Travis is changed. His eyes carry the ancient, heavy knowledge of the grass. He knows every path, every moment in time, and most importantly, he knows where the exit is. He carries Tobin to the edge of the field. He gives the boy Becky's necklace and a final mission. Go back, find them, and stop them from ever stepping foot in the grass. With a final push, he sends Tobin through the threshold. In an instant, Tobin is transported into the attic of the church. He sprints outside just as Cal and Becky's car pulls over. On the other side of the road, the other Tobin is already screaming for help. Cal is seconds away from walking into the trap when Tobin reaches them. He begs them to stay away. To prove he's telling the truth, he produces the necklace. Becky looks at the jewelry, then at the terrified boy who knows her ex-boyfriend's name, and realizes the impossible is true. She stops Cal just in time. They don't go to San Diego. Becky, changed by a journey she can't quite remember, tells Cal to turn the car around. She's going home, and she's keeping her baby. Deep in the tall grass, miles and lifetimes away, Travis hears her words. A peaceful smile touches his face as he lies back, letting the grass cover him one last time, knowing the cycle is finally broken. If you enjoyed this video, do the algorithm things, like, subscribe, and maybe check out the channel. It keeps the lights on and the mic warm.